Today we're going to look at a pretty interesting problem I came across, and it says the following system has infinite solutions. What is the value of a minus b? So we have this equation, 3x minus 4y equals 8. We have another equation, a plus b times x plus a minus b times y equal to 3. And we're told that the system has infinite solutions. That's what we're told. So if we have a system with infinite solutions, what that translates to is that we have something like 5 equal to 5, or 2x equal to 2x, or 0 equal to... We have a statement that's equivalent to one another. We have the same thing. So what we end up with is something like this, like 2x plus 5y equal to 8, and 2x plus 5y equal to 8. Something like that. Like we have the same exact equations, because the infinite solutions means it's two equations stacked on top of one another. So that's what I know. I know we have infinite solutions. And I want to figure out specifically what a minus b is. That's kind of difficult just right off the bat here, right from the start, by looking at that, because then you might think like, well, if a minus b, these have to be the same, so a minus b has to equal -4, right? Well, not really, because this is 8 and this is 3. So even if these both were -4, if -4 was a minus b, that wouldn't work, because we wouldn't get the infinite solutions. We'd end up with like no solutions or something like that. You know, it wouldn't work out. Especially even with these two terms here also. So we have to think a little bit differently. So here's how I'm thinking about this, and if you have other ideas, like please definitely let me know. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the route of making these two values the same. That way I know, like, okay, well, if these two values are the same, then at least I'm making some progress. So I'm going to multiply this equation by 3 to make this 24. I'm going to multiply this equation by 8 to make this 24. So I'm trying to make those the same. So on the top, I'm going to have 3 times 3 is, so I'm doing all of this, and I'm doing all of this. So on the top, 3 times 3 is 9x minus 12y equal to 24. So 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times -4 is -12, 3 times 8 is 24. On the second equation, I'll have 8 times a plus b times x plus 8 times a minus b times y equal to 24. So now I could figure out, well, if these two terms are the same, 24 and 24, I know when I subtract those I'll get like 0, or if I try to add the two equations together, whatever, it's going to work out nicely. So since I know that, then I could set the y values equal to one another. I could say -12 is equal to 8 times a minus b, because if I have that statement, if I want to make these the same, I want to make these equal to one another. So I have to figure out, what does a need to be multiplied by, what does a minus b have to be in order, that a looks really weird, in order for that to make it the same. So I have to multiply 8 by some factor that will make it also -12. So here we go. Let's do that. Let's solve for a minus b. I'm going to divide by 8. So I get a minus b is equal to -12 over 8, which simplifies down to 4 goes into 12 3 times, 4 goes into 8 twice. So a minus b has to be equal to -3/2. And it has to be equal to -3/2 because what I want this to do, I want -12 to equal 8 times -3/2. So -12 equals 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 times -3 is -12. -12 equals -12. So that's the same. So then I figured out what a minus b has to be equal to, because we made these two terms the same. That's my strategy of going about this. If you have a different strategy, please let me know. It's not asking for a minus or a plus b, so I'll just leave it with a minus b. But that would be my method, because at first thought, I think it's very easy to think, well, if we want infinite solutions, that means we want the same thing. So I'm just going to set these two terms equal to one another. I'm going to set -4 equal to a minus b. So a minus b has to be -4. Like, that's just the initial thought that someone would like, well, they have to be equal. But you got to understand that these two terms are not the same. So that's not going to work out. We'd end up getting like a potential no solution there if we were to try to solve that. So I try to make these the same and then go from there. So that was a fun problem. I'm glad I came across that one.